This is our second lesson, and today we're going to talk about some tours related to remembrance tourism. What I've done here is I have linked two different travel agencies for you, and they both specialize in memorial tourism. Let's take a look at them. So this is the first one. It's called Battlefield Journey. And what they do, which is really nice, is they organize cycling tours and walking tours. Cycling tours, let's take a look. So as you can see, they have, for example, a Normandy tour. Normandy is the part of France where American soldiers arrived when they wanted to liberate Europe from the Nazis. They have different towns in France where different battles have been fought. And they also have a cycling tour of the front line in Britain. And then let's take a look at the walking tours. So again, we have different places in France, and a D-Day, which is the day when the Americans disembarked in Normandy, a D-Day tour. So this is one. And then the second one is Remembrance Travel. Let's take a look. This is another British agency, and as you can see, they do World War I tours and World War II tours in different places, even in India. Look at that. Okay, so this was a tour we ran in 2017. Keep an eye out for our 2018 program. It is a bit outdated as a website, I must say, but definitely a very nice offer that they have. They also have motorbike tours, so that would be nice to do, and of course educational as well. So this is just to give you an idea of what agencies are doing at the moment. And then we are going to see two different tours. These are of course just some examples, but then there are many different options. A D-Day tour and a Holocaust tour. So D-Day, let's talk about D-Day. D-Day is the 6th of June 1944, and it's the day when, as I said, American soldiers landed in Normandy. They arrived in Normandy to free France from the Nazis. So this is a tour where you will learn about the French resistance, the German occupation. You will step on historical beaches, as we've said. And you will have the opportunity to see German bunkers and different war forts. There are half-day tours and full-day tours, and this is just an example. It's called the Comprehensive Ohama Beach Tour. Okay, I've linked here the website where I took this, and it includes the Atlantic Wall, which is a system of forts built by Nazi Germany. I am going to show you a picture of them. Let's take a look. This was all around the Atlantic coastline. Okay, so as you can see, it's, well, that's a very tiny image. Yeah, there you go. This is a bigger one maybe. Okay, so there's a man with two cannons in the back. There you go. So different forts built all across the coast, and they, of course, were needed to protect the coastline, and they were built by Nazis. And then strong points are, where is it? These are the strong points. So the actual places where the soldiers would hide and fight from. The strong points from which German soldiers killed thousands of Americans while they were disembarking on Ohama Beach. So these are also part of the tour. You're gonna have a visit of these strong points. And then you are going to see the cemetery, the American cemetery of Colleville-sur-Mer, and you guys are definitely going to be able to say that much better than me. Let's take a look at a picture. Okay. So there we go. Just like many American cemeteries, it's very minimal and just very nice and very pure. And then the Point du Hoc, which is a cliff which was scaled by some American soldiers. So basically this place, let's show you a picture of this as well. This is a place up on a cliff. And this cliff, which of course is very, very, very high, was literally scaled and climbed by American soldiers because up the top here, the Nazis had a central point, a very strategic point, and the Americans climbed all the way up the cliff and occupied this strong point. Okay? So now there is a monument to honor their courage. This is, as we said, an example of a tour in Normandy, visiting the places where France was liberated from the Nazi regime. A second tour is much, much stronger, and it is the Holocaust tour. This is a 5-day tour, so much longer, okay, and more comprehensive. Let's take a look. So I guess we all know what the Holocaust is. There is no need to explain it really. And if you do have some questions, of course, you can just ask me or your history professor. In here, I have added you a little explanation of what the Holocaust is. It's sometimes called Shoah, which is the Hebrew name. It was a genocide in which Nazi Germany killed people during World War II. So I don't think I need to explain to you what the Holocaust is. This little explanation is really just to give you vocabulary so that you can explain it in English in case you need to. Okay, so it's not just Jews that were killed, but also other minorities. For example, Slavs. What's that? Communists, disabled people, homosexuals, Jehovah's Witnesses, and many others. These people were not only put in ghettos and forced to work in concentration camps, but then also killed in a very, very brutal way in gas chambers or by being executed. So this tour takes place in Poland. Poland is one of the countries that the Nazi regime occupied, and it's actually the first one that they occupied, and the occupation of Poland sets the beginning of World War II. There are a total of over 6 million Poles who died during the war, and half of them were killed in the camps. So this tour is not just about concentration camps, although there are two of them, two maybe the most important ones, which are Treblinka and Auschwitz. There are also two cities that the tour includes. One is Warsaw and the other one is Krakow. So the first day, the tour includes a tour of Warsaw. Not just a tour of the historical sites, but more specifically, because this is a Holocaust tour, this day in Warsaw, what we're going to see is the ghetto, the Bridge of Sighs, Il Ponte dei Sospiri, which is a bridge that connected the small to the large ghetto. We're going to see the synagogue, the Museum of the History of Polish Jews, and then the Jewish cemetery, which is one of the largest in the world because, as we said, over 6 million Poles died during the war. The second day, we are going to see an extermination camp, which is very close to Warsaw, and it's called Treblinka II. This is probably the cruelest and the worst extermination camp built by the Nazis. It was built for execution, so for this reason exactly. So many people lost their lives in here. After this camp, The people visiting will have the chance to see the city of Lublin, and here people can visit the castle where basically the Nazis and the Soviets put on a prison. They used it as a prison, and then in 54 it was finally put back for cultural purposes. At the third day, we are going to go to Krakow. Because Krakow is 3 hours away, the whole morning is going to be dedicated to the journey. So after the journey, people will be kind of tired, and so there will just be a guided tour of the old town. And then the fourth day, the tour includes a visit to Auschwitz and Birkenau, which are probably, Auschwitz is probably the most well-known concentration camp in the world. It was one of the first that was built, and it was very, very, very big, especially after they added the second part to it, which is this Birkenau addition. So as this text says, Auschwitz is a compulsory visit, so you have to go and visit it if you want to know about the Holocaust, because it's such a strong experience. It is a very emotive journey and a very, very personal experience for everybody. Everybody has very strong feelings and emotion when they go there. But this is, if you think about it, this is why this place was kept alive, because they wanted to create such an emotion and such an experience that people would learn out of it, and that they would be able to pay respect to the deaths. Okay, so as we said, so the camp is divided into two parts. There is Auschwitz I, which was the first part that was built, and this is where the Jews were conducted, where they were kept, where they worked. Many people were experimented on by some crazy scientists. The experiments were mainly done on the reproductive system, on women, and also on twins. People were experimented on, different experiments were carried out on them, and then they were killed so that they could do an autopsy on them. This is also where people were executed. There was a wall that was created especially and just for executions, so that people would be executed there. In 1942, the camp expanded, and there was the construction of a second part. And this part, Birkenau, is also sometimes called Auschwitz II. And this is so much bigger than Auschwitz. This is basically where the mass extermination machinery was kept. This is where gas showers were built. This is where crematory ovens were built, and this is where the majority of the people who were in Auschwitz lost their life. And then after this very, very heavy and strong visit on the fifth day, the tour includes a visit to Kazimierz, which is a suburb in Krakow. And this is where most of the Jews lived. And there are many, many sites here, but this tour offers the visit to two of them. One of them is the synagogue, and one of them is Schindler's Factory. So some of you might have watched Schindler's List, which is the story of this guy, Oskar Schindler, who had a factory. It was an enamel factory, so they used to do ceramics there. And basically what this factory owner did was he saved more than 1,100 Jews by employing them in his factory. Nowadays, the factory is still there, and it's not a factory anymore. Inside you can find the Museum of Contemporary Art and the Historical Museum of the City of Krakow. Okay, so this was the lesson for today, 2 tours that you guys can see and study, and yeah, I will see you next time. Bye bye.